one, go. Ah, close. Hey, everybody. My name's Gary. You are learning to play ukulele, hopefully. And you are going to go to jollyrogerukulele.com. And I am posting all of our links there to get you up and running and in an instrumental way. So we do a lot of old-fashioned thinking, a lot of just, hey, with this instrument should be enough. Those of you who like to sing probably have better options on the internet, not necessarily, maybe. So I don't teach singing overly, really, as a part of playing ukulele. I want you to be able to play the instrument itself. And so we do a lot of work with instrumental work, do a lot of work with thinking about music theory and that sort of stuff. And so please feel free to run over there and grab the resources that are necessary for today's activity. Today we're playing Amazing Grace, and it's going to be awesome. We're going to continue our chord melody or finger style classes. Right now I'm posting our link on the page so everybody will know where to go. And then I have to wait a second to make sure it takes. But anyway, I got tons of sheet music over there. If you're new to ukulele, just click on the front page, see what's all's going on, and then click on the ukulele link in the menu, and that will take you to a structured progression, taking you from knowing nothing to knowing everything. And should make it an awesome experience for you. Let's see. Brig is back. Mm-hmm. I had a very well. I was working on the bathroom, tearing out tile all weekend. Not all weekend. A few hours I spent tearing out tile. So yeah, it was fine, but it was and really there was nothing to do. We couldn't go anywhere. So on Friday, I think it was 97 or something, and then we had this air push in, and it snowed the last couple of days, and there's no heat in the building right now. So I'm sitting here freezing to death. I have a little space heater under my feet here. I'm actually going to turn it up. It seems like it's getting colder rather than warmer. Yeah, that'll get us going a little bit better. Move this out of the way and slide this over. So I'm sitting here freezing to death, you guys. Let's see. Looks like the link must be working. People are loading in. Vic made it here. Sounds good. Looks cold. Yeah. Took a photo of it out there earlier when this morning all of the trees were frozen. All the leaves are still on the trees, of course. And so all these leaves are kind of looking droopy a little bit, and then they have snow crystals on them. So they're all white. They look very surreal in many ways. But it's starting. The sun's come out, and it looks like it's warming up enough where some of that's melting off. It wasn't bad enough to kill a ton of trees. Usually, our first snow of the year destroys a bunch of trees because it gets on top of the leaves and weighs them down. And so this one, hopefully, this sends a note to all the trees to get rid of their leaves in a big hurry here. Maybe we'll lose fewer trees because of this. Let's see, what else are we talking about? I can close this window out. Today we are playing Amazing Grace, and I'm going to teach you, hopefully, to calm down. This is one of those songs where you got to be patient. It'll come to you. And so we'll see if I can talk you into that. I bought this fancy schmancy thing, and the screen is all weird. I don't know how it got all dirty. And now I gotta go figure out how I'm supposed to clean that. Let's see. Sound is video is good. Good. Okay. Getting where we're mostly got the sound figured out. Hey Donna, ready to go. Melissa's in. Glad to be back. Hope you had a good long weekend. Still on the snow ground. Yeah, they're still. It's not really on the grass anymore. The snow's sitting on the rooftops, and still a little bit in the leaves. But for the most part, it's warmer now for probably, I don't know, what is it, 40 out there or something? I hear my phone going off every 5 minutes these days. But anyway, go ahead and open up. I'm going to tell you how, because it came up, people got to know. It's 36 degrees out there. So it'll start to get a little less crazy. My friend Debbie, who is my number 2 in the orchestra. She's number 1 in my heart, number 2 in my orchestra. Actually, my wife's number 1, right? She's texting me during lessons. She should know better, Debbie. All right, so 9 of us here. That's about right. That means people are getting back into it. Let's go grab Amazing Grace, and let's talk about our week ahead and all of that good stuff. But first, let's just warm up and play a little bit of music. What I want to do with Amazing Grace is, when we are newer to ukulele, we have this tendency that, all right, I did this chord, pull everybody off, put this chord back on, did this chord, right? And we're constantly yanking everything off when we don't really need to. Hey, Uke. We want to do as little of that as possible. In other words, you're going to put a chord on here, and if you don't have to move that sucker, you're not going to move it until you absolutely have to lift up a finger or change to a different chord or something like that. But for the most part, and you will notice this when I'm playing, a lot of times I'm hanging out. This finger just doesn't even go anywhere. It's just hanging out. That will create a smoothness in your playing that we are after. If we have this tendency to, we have the tendency to make the note, pull off our hand, and think about, well, now what's the next thing I gotta do? Where we should be playing, right? And you don't pull it off until you absolutely have to. Let those notes ring out. And Amazing Grace is the best, is a great example of how we do that. Hey, Valerie, Black Betty. Hey, doctor. It's probably going to be a spam person. So we got to wait a second, because the next thing out of Black Betty will probably be something ridiculous. Okay. So we'll find out. Sometimes the spammers walk in, toss one thing, walk out. Sometimes they act like children. There he is. You always wait, right? And then you're like, oh yeah, he's a middle schooler with nothing to do. So what we can do is we go over here and we just make Black Betty go away. Okay, and that's the end of that. All right. I look like Evelyn snuck in here. Hey, Evelyn. All right. So Amazing Grace, we have three chords. First chord is a G chord. Okay, so index finger on top, middle finger on the bottom, ring finger out here. Okay. I think with G chord, a lot of times when people are newer, it's going to be one of the harder chords that you have to deal with right off the bat. And I put it off for as long as I can, but you do have to do it. Okay. By the way, I just unzipped my hoodie and opened it up, because when you're playing, if you have a hoodie on and it has a zipper, it is going to scratch the back of your ukulele. Some of you have cheap ukuleles, not going to matter. This is a kind of a nice ukulele, so I'd rather not scratch the back of it. So you notice I'm taking that off. When you go into a music store and you're wearing a hoodie or anything with buttons or zippers on the front, you're going to find out, though, they are real interested in you not playing the instruments, because you're going to scratch the back of it. And so just be mindful. With whatever you're wearing, that when this goes up against your body, you don't want to mess up the back of it, probably. Yeah, I have this weird stuff all over this too. It's from the ash that we've been having from all these fires. It's coming down and kind of putting a bunch of on stuff. So I'm gonna have to clean things up a little bit. G chord, index, middle, ring. A little hard in the beginning. Okay. Okay, from that, at measure 3, we got to get to a C chord. Again, it doesn't matter what the shape is. You're really thinking about, how do I get from one chord to the next? So with G chord, just a beautiful down to drop down there and just pull these two guys off, and your ring finger drops down that C, which is no big deal. But getting back is where the challenge is. Usually you start with your index finger, then your middle finger, then your ring finger, okay, to get back to the G chord. Okay. There's that. And then the next chord, measure 7, we're hanging out on G. We're going to go up one, and then here's your D7. Okay, and it goes like that. And then we're going to go back to G again. Lead with your index finger, down, down. Add your ring finger. There's that. Okay, measure 11, drop down, grab your C chord. Okay. And then we're going to, again, coming back to the G chord, index, middle, ring. and then measure 14, go back to that D7, up, up, from, and back down to the G7. Okay, those are what we're going to be working on. Amazing Grace, 2-beat count in, and then we'll be going. All right. Hey, Lynn, welcome in. All right, guys, looks like we're going to be having some fun today. Okay, from the top, 2 beats count in. I will sing. Again, we are instrumental players, so singing isn't the main idea. You still got to know how to do it because you're eventually going to be hanging out with other ukulele players, and the expectation is that you'll know how to play when you sing and strum type stuff. Okay, I would be suggesting if you're newer, 1, 2. Yeah, nice soothing sound and combination of chords. Yeah, they're really pleasant, right? I would be thinking about either 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Man, notice you're in 3, right? Or if you're starting in, I don't remember, it's this week or next week, we're going to start working on arpeggio picking, and that's going to require this shape. So pick one of the two and see what happens. 1, 2. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. 2, 3, 1, 2. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. Okay, there we go. All right. The second way, just nice thumbs down. Okay, let's give that a try. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I got to count in 2. Sorry. 1, 2. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. 2, 3, 1, 2. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. Okay. Want to be working always on just having this nice, peaceful, senseful, lovely way about approaching your music. Sometimes we're going to play fast, exciting, weird, crazy songs, but we approach it with that same general sense of Amazing Grace. Let's get all of these notes to matter. Let's make it as beautiful and as caring as we can. And then if it happens to be a song that's real fast, we've already got the thing set up as a beautiful ballad down here, nice and slow. We can always speed that up, but be thoughtful about, hey, in this song, whatever this song is, I'm going to be doing here, I'm going to be doing here, I'm going to be here, I'm going to come up here, come back. That's what's important, is to get where that's no big deal, where you can do that in your sleep, and then all of a sudden you can start really knocking this thing out. Okay. All right. Let's, those are your chords. Okay. Let's run through the melody. Everything in this song is either a 2 or a 3 or a 5, right? Well, there's some zeros in there, of course. So we would probably be thinking about playing this in second position. In other words, you're going to play your 2s with your index finger, 3s with your middle finger, and 5s with your pinky finger. And then you've got every note covered, and you don't even need to move your hand to play the melody. It's all just very straightforward positional playing. Okay, so we begin with, we'll count in 2, and then we're going to go 1, 2, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, oh, 3, oh, 2, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, oh, 5, 2, 3, 1, 2. 2, 5, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, oh, 3. Big takeaway here is hopefully that melody is coming out of your instrument, right? Hopefully now you're figuring out, hey, these are my frets, these are my strings. All I gotta do is pluck the right string while holding the correct fret on that string, and my instrument will deliver me the tune. I do not need to sing anymore unless I want to. And that's something that we're always working on, is giving you choices. If you want to sing, there's nothing that I teach that will prevent you from doing that. If you hate singing, there's nothing I teach that will prevent you from doing that, prevent you from not singing, right? What we want to be able to do is get this instrument to do this song in as many different ways as we can, and then you get to decide what's the best way. The other takeaway from this is, if I did not need to lift up a finger, I didn't. And there were times when my middle finger's hanging out on this 3 on this second string for quite a while. The first 3 measures, I can basically hang out there the entire time, and I'm not doing anything to lift it up, put it back down, just hang out. And my notes will tend to kind of smoosh together that way. Some notes will start overlapping if I'm on different strings, and it makes your playing sound much more fluid, much more solid, much prettier overall. Okay, so again, because we only had 2s, 3s, and 5, we went with 5th position. You could absolutely play this in 1st position using your 2s with your middle finger and your 3s with your ring finger. But then you've got a little bit of a reach to get your 5s with your pinky. And it's not terrible on ukulele. We can pull that off without a big problem. But when you can avoid it, why not avoid it? And so you begin also to train your fingers that, oh, I'm in 2nd position. Now my index finger is going to play the 2s rather than my middle fingers, which is a 1st position thought. Okay, and the way you determine that is look through the song, just like we did in Yankee Doodle. We take a minute to look through the song, figure out where the notes are going to be. Remember, in Yankee Doodle, we started in 3rd position, which meant that we only had to move this 1 note. Okay, and it's a much wider song. It's got a lot more notes. I guess it's a much taller song because there's a lot more notes going up vertically on your sheet music. Now, let's take the final step on this thing, and it's a big deal, okay? We're going to start with a true finger-style thinking here, okay? Which means when you are a finger-style player, the first thought is, what are your chords? And you already know those, right? You've got G's, C's, and D7s. I'm going to put my chord on right off the bat, okay? We're going to walk through every single note in this song and see how little we have to do once we've got this chord on. Okay, so we put the chord on. Your first note is a 2 on the 3rd string, and you're already holding it down, so you would pluck that. Then the next notes are 0, 2, 3. This is on the tough uke line I'm looking. 0, 2, 3. That means I can go strum straight down. I'm going to get a 0, I've got a 2, and I'm already holding the 3. Okay, so the first measure, first little chord there, 0, 2, 3, is that. Now I'm going to play a 2 and a 3. I'm already holding them down. 2, 3, okay, and then it says 0, 2, 3, 2. That is a G chord. That's going to come up a million times in your life. So you've got 0, 2, 3, 2. So you can just strum. Okay. Next note's a 0. Now I'm holding down a 2, so I've got to lift up my middle finger to get that 0. And then measure 3, it says 0, 0, 3. Well, I'm holding down a 2 on my index finger, so I got to get rid of that. 0, 0, 3. Now I finally pull off my middle finger, or my ring finger, sorry, to get the 0 there. And then I'm going to put that G chord right back on. Okay? And then I'm going to play another 2. And then measure 5, 0, 2, 3. 2, 3. Measure 6, 0, 2, 3, 2. I'm already holding it down. Lift up your middle finger to get the 0. Now, big deal here. Okay, we ran into this exact idea in Yankee Doodle. Here it shows up again, only it's instead of being on the 5th fret, it's on the 2nd fret. Bar on 2, pinky on 5. Okay, now your chord is a D7, but in the tough uke arrangement, I put a regular plain old D chord. I could have put in a D7. I could have, but I thought, you know what, we're going to learn a whole lot more by dropping in a bar chord here. It'll sound great, and it'll give you a chance to see how your bar chord's coming. So full bar on 2, pinky on 5, strum that. 2, 3, 1, 2. Now, because you're holding down this bar already, you don't need to do anything. You just need to lift up your pinky, leave the bar there, hit that 2. This is the hard motion in the song, because now you've got this bar on. You've just played the last note in measure 8, which is a 2. Now I got to get on a G chord. So I got to do here, here, here. Plus I've got to add my pinky on 5. This is the hard moment in the song. Okay, so it's a G chord, pinky on 5. Some of you will have a challenge reaching that, not forever, but right now you might be having a challenge reaching that. Just get as far as you can. This is the note that matters. So if you can't hold the whole chord, then just make sure you play the 5 and lose the chord. But the idea would be, hey, you can do this. Okay, I've had lots of people struggle in the beginning, and very few people struggle forever on this. They're going to play a G chord here, pinky up here on 5, strum that. Okay, now you've got a G chord and your melody note on that 5 happening at the same time. Now lose the pinky, and you got 2, 3, and then another nice G chord. Then we're going to lift up your middle finger to get the 0. And then 0, 0, 3, just like the beginning. And then the 0, put your G chord right back on. 0, 2, 3, 2, 3. There's a nice full bar chord here on the 2. We've already been practicing it up on measure 7, so just 2, 2, 2, 2. Okay, that sounds cool. It's a 0, and then right back to your G chord, play 3 strings. Okay, so that's the idea here. Doing the least amount of work. Don't do anything over here you don't have to do, and then either pull up or add a finger on as necessary. This is a place where you add a finger on, and we don't want to pull anything off of here until we absolutely have to. And that won't be true of all of your musical playing on a ukulele, is that we don't want to do anything over here we don't have to do. And we only want to do what we have to do when we have to do it. Otherwise, we're going to hang out on these chords. Let the ukulele ring. It helps all of the other vibrations that are going on in the instrument vibrate in the correct chord, and so by holding the chord through as you're playing, it will end up sounding better. Okay, we're going to go through real slow. I'm going to do just thumb the first time through. Then the second time through, I'm going to come through and do a claw picking. Okay, and whether you're feeling comfy with one or the other probably doesn't matter, because you're probably feeling a little uncomfortable with all of it. Okay, but as you're working on this today, try first with your thumb, then go back through and try it with your claw. I'll give you both examples. Okay, so we'll play it through twice. From the top, I count in 2. 1, 2. 2, 3, 1, 2. Go back and play it with your claw if you can. Otherwise, just use your thumb again. Ready? 1, 2. 2, 3, 1, 2. That's what we're working on. Okay. I would say this song should talk you into having a nice, peaceful, calm way about you. That's kind of our goal here, is just to let yourself be peaceful while you're playing it, and doesn't and we're not rushing our left hand. We're not really rushing our right hand. One of those two ways, either thumb down or plucking, may sound better than the other, but it doesn't. It's not really what matters. What matters is that you can do both ways, because this isn't the song you're probably going to make as your repertoire piece, but it is a song that's going to teach you how to get that peacefulness into your music playing, both with your thumbs and with your claw. And then between the two of those, then you get to choose. And for most songs, you're going to use a combination of all of that stuff. And so we want you to have I want you to have all the tools available to you. Now, let's talk very quickly about our week in ukulele. So today we're running Amazing Grace, and tomorrow we run Happy Birthday. Happy Birthday obviously is a song that everybody knows it, right? So you have a certain amount of obligation to play it the way it is expected to be played, and so we'll run through that tomorrow. On Friday, then we will be playing Brahms Lullaby again, Yankee Doodle again, My Spaghetti Monster again, Amazing Grace again, and Happy Birthday. So you will have the five seminal pieces that turn you into a chord melody player. And when you are a chord melody player, you are officially at the top level of playing ukulele. There's nothing else beyond that. Yeah, your chords get weirder, your speeds get faster, the melodies get harder, maybe, but for the most part, you've got the big toolbox in place, and then we just start working it until you're good at it. So if you are at home working, always start with that Make a Better Bar worksheet to warm up your bar, because those are going to be in almost every song you play from now on. And then this week, be playing Brahms Lullaby, Yankee Doodle, My Spaghetti Monster, Amazing Grace, and Happy Birthday. And by the way, don't just play them one way, right? Which is tough. That's the way we all want to play. That's why you're here. But we want to be playing it in all of the different ways. You do want to know how to strum and sing. You do want to know how to just to play the straight melody, because you may be playing a duet with somebody down the road when they let us out of the house, and then you may for sure want to be all play the tough uke. So don't neglect any. What I find with my students a lot is they can play at this high level. Tough uke is it's not particularly a thing for them. But when they go to a strum along, they can't keep up, because those guys have been strumming and singing and just they're just killing those chords. So you want to be able to do both. And so when you're at home working on them, try the songs all the different ways, and I think you'll benefit from that. I can do it at turtle speed. Turtle speed is the official speed. That's the speed I want everybody to play at, honestly. If I can get more of you to play at turtle speed, we'll be better off. Okay, so kind of a short lesson today, and probably a fairly short lesson tomorrow, but that'll give you a little bit of time just to review the material from last week. If you're brand new, obviously make sure that if you're running into some struggles, that you send me an email. I can't tell what you're doing at home, so I'm assuming you're playing it absolutely perfectly and with perfect form and beautiful style. But if you're struggling a little bit, toss me an email. I did get mostly caught up with email over the weekend. I mostly deleted emails, but I tried to get to everybody that I could, and so I'm back to being able to actually read emails again. And so don't be shy about asking me questions. Melissa says, "Hey, the minute I speed up, I lose my chords." Yeah. That's why we play slow. So that you're teaching your hands all good behaviors, right? So if I'm playing this slow, okay, that's slow. Now if I try to go fast, okay, I'm much more likely to blow a note. And there's no ukulele police, right? There's nobody who's going to come and say, "Oh, you're playing it too slow." I will tell you, all of the top level musicians, all of them, I believe I'm speaking the truth. I believe they all start slow. I think they all start, whatever song they're going to play, whether that is, Jake Shimabukuro knocking out Bohemian Rhapsody on this, or whether it's Michael Jackson figuring out how he's going to do his dance routine through the whole thing, or whether it is Rachmaninoff going to create this amazing piece of music, or whether it was Chopin or any of the guys. I'm positive all of them started off incredibly slow, training their hands to do exactly what they needed to do, and then they started the process of speeding it up. Because if you're trying to play fast and you don't have your motions decided on, you'll start grasping for things. You'll start making bad decisions. And then what does your hand learn? Oh, when we get to this spot, I got to grasp. And that's not what you want to teach your hand at all. So play slow, play slow. Believe me, that's the one thing I tell every single person that I work with. Slow down, slow down. It'll be better if you slow down. Let's see. All right, Evelyn, good to see you. I like the way every song seems to have a reason for a new challenge. It's not feel rushed or like. Oh, you're welcome. This business of, hey, I can teach you how to play ukulele in 10 minutes. That's nonsense. Yeah, I can teach you how to play Frere Jacques in 10 minutes. Absolutely. And that's the foundation for everything else I teach you. But, we want to it's going to take years. Okay. If it doesn't take you years, I'm going to feel gypped, because it took me years, and I was already a competent musician when I got my first ukulele. And I think it still takes a long time for you to master any instrument. And so be patient with yourself. Start with these little bits and pieces and build onto them. We're going to build this big old structure until we're going to have this big fancy confetti thing at the top, and then you won't. Then you'll look back and you'll be like, I don't know, there was some weird guy I learned how to do this on YouTube. But yeah, each piece in this program has a very specific reason why it's there. I don't. I occasionally I'll change out a song because I'm sick of it, or it's not getting me what I want. But for the most part, every single song, at least in the first book, it's there for a reason. It's absolutely there to teach you a specific skill. So good. Checking in for Amazing Grace. Well, Linda, we're already done. You get to watch the archive. So anyway, guys, don't want to belabor the point. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for being here. We're going to end up a little early today. Go practice your other tunes. Make sure that things are going well. And then obviously bring your questions always to the chat box if you log in. And if you don't, you can always toss me an email. If you have no questions, that's exciting, because that means I taught you perfectly. Okay. The sun is starting to come out, so I'm going to go lower the blinds for the next lesson. I'm like, wow. So, all right, guys, have a wonderful day. I will see all of you either tomorrow or later today in one of the other lessons. And I know, sorry, Linda, this was a short lesson today, but it's a good one. Get your G chords together, get your C chords together, get your D7 together, or your bar D chord. That's an exciting piece of to have. So have a great day, guys. Talk to you tomorrow.